Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be doing a full face using $1 makeup products from Shop Miss A. Today's video is in collaboration with Shop Miss A, so huge thank you to them for sponsoring today's video and sending me all of these goodies to test out for you guys. I was so excited when they reached out to me because actually around this time last year, I was about to place my own order for a bunch of dollar makeup goodies on their website. And I also really know that you guys love content that is all about affordable makeup here on my channel. It is some of my favorite content to film. So the fact that I was able to do this full face of makeup using all makeup products that are $1 is absolutely incredible, and I could not wait to share this with you guys. So I really hope that you guys enjoy seeing today's video. Again, huge thank you to Shop Miss A for partnering with me on this video. And if you guys want to see how I got this look using dollar makeup products, make sure to keep on watching. I am so excited to test out these products today and see what Shop Miss A is all about. I'm sure I gave you guys the whole rundown in the intro, but everything is $1, and you guys know I love affordable makeup here on my channel. To do the brows today, I'm going to be using the AOA Studio Slim Brow Pencil in the shade Medium Brown from Shop Miss A. This is $1, and then also the Amuse Cosmetics Eyebrow Pencil in the shade number 1, I believe I picked out. I'm going to be using these two products in my brows today. Just starting off and brushing through my brow hairs as always. I did just recently tweeze them so they're not too crazy right now. I did clean them up before this video. This actually seems like a really nice spoolie so far. Really decent quality. I've definitely tried spoolies that do not feel this sturdy. Look, this one doesn't even bend when I kind of press it with my finger. I've tried brow pencils that are even more expensive than this, and the spoolie just totally cracked off or bent when I went to use it. I just realized I wasn't wearing any earrings, you guys. I felt like I was missing something, but I didn't know what until I realized that I didn't have any earrings on. Now let's go ahead and try out the brow pencil. I got this in the shade Medium Brown because typically that's a pretty safe shade for me. That's the shade that I wear in other brands of brow pencils that I use. And so far, this looks like it's going to be a really good match for my eyebrows. This has a really nice in-between formula as well. You guys know whenever I describe my brow pencils, I like something in between as far as like creaminess to dryness, and this is like that perfect in between because it's not too creamy to where it's going to kind of smudge around or look like a Sharpie eyebrow. Whoa, I almost poked myself in the eye. Did you guys see that? I was saying it's not too creamy to where it's gonna smudge or look like a Sharpie eyebrow, but it's not too dry either where I have to press down really hard. I really like the formula on this so far, and the color is absolutely perfect for my eyebrows. It matches my hair really nicely. How is this $1, you guys? This is so good so far. It reminds me so much of my high-end brow pencils. I love this so far. Definitely 10 out of 10 for $1 eyebrow pencil. You can't go wrong. So now I'm going to go in with the brow powder as I mentioned, and I'm going to go in with this little angled brush from, oh, this is actually an eyebrow brush. It has a spoolie on it. This is their 10-piece All About Eyes brush set in pink. I thought this was so cute. I definitely knew this was something that I wanted when they reached out to me. You get 10 eye brushes in here for $10, which I think is great. It also comes with this super cute carrying case. I have a couple of their other brushes in the lid. The compartments make super cute like cup holders or brush holders when you're traveling, but this is just the cutest brush set for $10. I'm going to go in with the E133 brush from that brush set on the Amuse brow powder. And this seems like really pigmented, so I'm just going to lightly tap this in the powder and fluff it through the brows. As I said, I just love combining powder and pencil in my brows just to give a little more added definition. I feel like it makes the eyebrows look a little bit more natural and fluffy. All right, so those are the eyebrows for now. I think we're having a really good brow day so far. I am very happy with those two products. So now I'm going to jump on into the eyeshadow, and I picked out the AOA Studio Nude Soft Base Eye Primer. Oil controlling, no fading or creasing, which I need because I definitely do have pretty oily eyelids throughout the day. Although my skin tends to get dry in the winter, my eyelids are the one thing that stays pretty oily. When I was looking at this online, it seems to be pigmented like a concealer, like it'll get rid of any discoloration and stuff like that. Oh wow, I love that. A little bit goes a really long way. I'm not really sure if this is something that I should set down. I know some people set their eye bases. I know some people don't. I usually always do just because it's my preference and I like putting powder eyeshadow on top of powder. So I'm just going to quickly go in and set the eye base with the AOA Studio Perfect Setting Powder. And this is in the shade Soft Light, also $1. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the powder. Again, not too much for the eyes to set down the eye base. For eyeshadow, a lot of Shop Miss A's eyeshadow palettes on their website looked amazing, but at the time that I was picking out what I wanted, the eyeshadow palette that I had my eye on, which is this one, I will put a screenshot right here. It was sold out on their website. So I decided to go a different route, which I thought could be interesting and even better because it's more customizable to you guys. And that is a magnetic palette as well as some single pressed eyeshadows. This magnetic palette is currently retailing for $4 on Shop Miss A's website, and it holds up to 9 eyeshadows, and their pressed single shadows are $1 each as well. So I picked out a couple of matte shades here, pretty much all in the warm brown family. The first shade that I picked out is the shade Sultry, and it's a really beautiful mid-tone brown for the transition. The next shade that I picked out is the shade Terracotta, which is a gorgeous warm burnt brick red shade, which you guys know I love. I cannot get enough of those shades. Here is the shade Spicy, just like a true fiery red orange shade. This right here is the shade Rich, which is a standard eyeshadow for me that I need in almost every look, just like a deep chocolatey brown. I picked out the shade Crown, which is a stunning bronzy, it's almost like a deep bronzy gold shade. This one is a shimmer. I think this is such a cute idea. It was so fun to be able to build my own little palette. I didn't totally fill it up, but these are definitely some of my favorite shades. So I'm going to start off with the first shade, which is the shade Sultry, the lightest mid-tone brown shade. And I'm going to start by fluffing that all in the crease as my transition. And these magnetic palettes also have little mirrors, which make them so awesome for travel. So far, first impression with the shade, it's definitely not showing up as much as I hoped it would. I'm gonna try to switch to a little bit more of a dense brush. It's definitely there, it's definitely showing up, but I typically like a little bit more of an intense transition shade. Maybe if you are a little bit more on the fair side, if you have a lighter skin tone than me, you would love this sultry shade as your transition. I'm going to move over now to the shade Terracotta to warm things up a little bit and maybe try to deepen up the transition as well. Oh yes. There we go. That's definitely a huge difference in comparison to the first shade of how I like my transition shades to show up. This is like my dream transition shade, honestly, this really warm burnt orange. Now I'm going to move over to the shade Spicy, which is the really intense, bright, spicy orange shade. I feel like it's very self-explanatory. I'm taking this on the E29, which is that like traditional outer corner brush that I love to use. And I'm just going to pack this on the outer corner and just run it a little bit up in the crease as well to blend everything together. Finally, to deep everything up, I'm gonna go in with the shade Rich, my favorite deep chocolatey brown shade. And I'm just applying this rich shade right to my lower lash line on my outer corner. You guys know the drill, just my standard favorite go-to look for my eye shape. So far, I am really liking these eyeshadows. I think they are blending really nicely. I think all of the colors are doing a nice job at meshing together, but you could still see each individual one if that makes sense. I kind of just wish they were a little bit more pigmented. They are taking a little bit of building on the eye, which isn't the worst thing. I think in that case, it makes the eyeshadows a lot more beginner friendly. But I think to me, being such like an eyeshadow connoisseur and having so many eyeshadows in my collection, I'm just used to something a little bit more pigmented right off the bat instead of having to build up my shadows so much. For my lid, as I showed you guys earlier, I have the golden shade, which is called Crown. It's definitely more like a satin shade. If you guys can see right there, it's not too much of a strong metallic. It's definitely more like a satiny, bronzy gold. But just to have options, I also picked out 2 of their Wonder Baked eyeshadows, which looked really good. That one on the bottom is the shade Creamsicle, which is a really pretty orangey shade. That one really caught my eye. Today, I think I'm gonna go ahead and use the Wonder Baked eyeshadow in the shade Seashell because I love a nice, bright, icy lid with the matte warm tones. It's one of my favorite looks, so I'm going to prep the lid with some of their AOA Studio Natural Finish Liquid Concealer. I'm going to do a little bit of a half cut crease just to clean up the lid and give me a little bit more of a structured look. And I'm going to use this to cut out my crease with the E131. Now I'm just going to take the Wonder Baked eyeshadow. I think I'm just going to take it on my finger and press it right on top of the concealer. I think this is really, really beautiful on the lid. I actually found that if I just took my nail and like scraped off a little bit of the top layer and then dipped my finger in it, it actually made the shadow a lot more pigmented. And I think that's pretty much with all baked products that I tried. Usually the top is just baked a little bit too hard. So once you just scrape off that top layer, the color payoff is so much better underneath. If you guys can see the difference, I definitely think it always works on baked products. I do want to use both of the baked eyeshadows that I got, so I'm just going to take a little of the Creamsicle shade and kind of put it where the Seashell shade is going to meet the outer corner, just to kind of mesh the 2 shades together and make a little bit more of an ombre effect. I didn't pick out any eyeliner because I don't normally wear liquid liner or waterline eyeliner, so I figured we would just go a little bit more natural today, like always, and just stick with some mascara. So the mascara that I picked out from them is also from AOA Studio, and it is their $1 Wisp Enhancing Mascara. This says it's an extremely natural, never clumps mascara, long-wearing formula, weightlessly lifts and lengthens your lashes while coating them in color. So from what I'm getting by this description, I don't think it's going to be an extremely dramatic mascara. So you guys will have to bear with me on this one because I don't really have really great lashes to begin with. My lashes are pretty short and straight, and I'm not super impressed by a lot of mascaras quickly. So I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about this because of just like my own kind of sad lashes, I guess you could say. Now I'm going to go in with the Wisp mascara, which I've actually never tried a mascara in a tube. I think this is really, really cool. It also does have like that classic bristly brush. That's definitely not the right word, but you guys know what I mean. The more hair-like brushes instead of the plastic brushes are definitely what I prefer with mascara. Right off the bat, the first thing that I can say about this is that I wish the wand was a little bit longer because I already keep like getting it on my eyelid and hitting like my nose and stuff. So that would be like my one little criticism thing about this mascara, is that I just wish the wand was a little bit longer because I don't switch hands when I do my opposite eye. I use my right hand on my left eye, so I keep bumping my nose a little bit. I'm gonna zoom you guys in so hopefully you could see like my one eye of mascara and then the one without it. I definitely have to say I think this is the least impressive thing to me so far in this video because I mean it does claim to be a natural mascara, so I can't really say that I had too high hopes, but personally for my short lashes I just think I need something with a little bit more oomph, and I'm not completely getting that with this mascara. There's definitely something there, and if you guys have already long lashes, you might like this, but I just don't think that this is personally enough for my very short eyelashes. I just popped off camera really quick to finish up my other eye of mascara, and I actually carved out my brows with the concealer, which I love. It is such a good consistency, and the color is totally perfect for my skin tone right now as well. As I was saying about the mascara, I really do like it. I think it's a good option for those of you that have already like super long lashes, and a natural mascara is good for you. For me and my short lashes, I felt like I needed a couple of extra layers of this than I normally do, and I definitely think the finished product is pretty, although they are a little bit more natural than I'm used to. Now for the face, which is my favorite part about my makeup routine. I have been in love with finding affordable base makeup these past couple of years and testing new things out, and I still can't believe all of this stuff is $1, so I'm just so excited to put this on the face. So the first thing that I'm going to go in with is the AOA Studio A+ No Pore Face Primer. It is mattifying, super smooth, lightweight, non-sticky, and it is a silicone-based primer that suits all skin types. I mean, how cute is this packaging? I think a lot of the AOA Studio packaging is so cute. I love all of these colorful tubes. I'm such a packaging person, you guys. I am so influenced by packaging, and the color of this was definitely one of the things that drew me to trying out this primer. Squeezing this out onto my finger, if you guys can see, it is definitely just one of those traditional like clear silicone based primers that I typically really like. These usually work really well for my skin and smoothing out the skin, making everything nice and like velvety smooth. Oh wow, my skin looks so smooth. Can you guys see the difference from this side of my forehead to this side? It looks like airbrush on the skin. Before we go ahead and jump on into foundation, I want to go ahead and talk about blenders and makeup sponges. They went ahead and sent me 2 of their blenders. The first one that I picked out is their Wonder Blender High Definition Makeup Sponge in the nude shade. I love this beveled shape. I love the flat side. I love that it's nude because it already looks like it has foundation on it, which I personally like. My sponges are literally always dirty. They also sent the Paw Wonder Blender, which is also a super soft latex-free sponge, and this one is just like that traditional egg shaped with the really pointy tip. I do like the shape of this sponge, but I'm just so used to the flat edge. I am definitely a beveled sponge kind of girl, so I'm gonna go ahead and wet this one, and we will come back and jump into the foundations. And then here is what the nude beveled sponge looks like once it is wet. It definitely grew a little bit, definitely got a little bit more squishy. It has a nice density to it though still, without being too hard, so I feel like it's going to bounce the foundation on the skin really nicely. Speaking of foundation, today I have the AOA Studio Pro Wear Full Coverage Foundation. I am so intrigued by these, you guys. This is probably the most inexpensive foundation that I have ever seen that I will be trying out. I've tried $5 foundations, but I've never tried $1 and change foundations ever. So I picked up the Pro Wear Foundation in 2 shades, Buff and Ivory. I don't know which one is gonna match me. I'm gonna try Ivory first because it looks like it's a little bit darker, but I have a feeling that these both might be a little bit too light on me at the moment. Wow, these are a lot thicker than I thought. Do you guys see that? It definitely has a more thick consistency than I thought. I thought something in a bottle like this would be a little runny. I think I'm gonna go with the shade Ivory, which is the one that's a little bit more yellow toned over here, just because Buff looks a little bit too pink on me. I'm going to take this on the wet sponge. Again, please bear with me on the shade. I definitely could have gone down a couple of shades, but we're going to try our best to make it work. Love the sponge though a lot. It feels just like a really classic sponge. Not too dense or not too squishy. It's really not absorbing a lot of the product at all. Okay, so here is one layer of the foundation done. And again, besides the shade, I really like this. It's more of a thick and matte formula than I am used to. I definitely think when I use this next time, I'm gonna go in with something like another layer of hydration underneath, like a hydrating primer, and then use the No Pore primer on the top of it. I kind of like the thought of that combination with this foundation. So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit more of the foundation on some of my problem areas. I'm known to do a second layer of foundation all the time. I just like wearing a decent amount of it on my face. Primarily, I really like to focus the second layer on the bottom half of my cheek. I pretty much do that with all of my foundations. Now I feel like this is giving me that really nice full coverage that I love. But now I'm going to move on to the concealer, again in the shade Fair Ivory. I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger. I'm gonna put some on my nose too to try to cover up my dry patches. Ooh, it kind of feels cooling underneath the eyes. I don't know if it's supposed to feel like that, but there's definitely something in the concealer that's giving my under eyes like a nice cool feeling that I really like. Oh wow, that looks stunning on my nose. That blended out so nicely. Are you guys seeing this concealer and this coverage under my eyes right now? It looks so good. I am so blown away and in love with this concealer right now. It's leaving me a little bit speechless, you guys. Look at how beautiful my under eyes are looking. Like luminous, but full coverage, and they don't feel greasy, and it's not slipping anywhere. This is seriously like one of the best concealers that I've ever tried, and it is still blowing my mind that this is only $1 right now. What? This is so good. Definitely another one of my favorites so far in this video. I think next to the brow pencil, this is wowing me so hard right now. It's so good. Now I'm going to go back in with the AOA Studio Perfect setting powder in the shade Soft Light, but I'm just going to take this on my same exact sponge and set my under eyes like normal. Oh yeah, this is definitely nice and brightening, and it looks super smooth under the eye. This is such a nice setting powder too. It is looking so smooth on the skin. Have you guys ever used a setting powder and when you use it, you just feel like you look completely airbrushed? This is definitely that type of powder for me right now. I'm going to finish up the eyes, and I'm just going to take a mixture of all of these warm browns, warm orangey shades that I used, and I'm using another brush, the E128 from the brush kit. I love these brushes. They are so fluffy. And there's literally one for every single step that you need for your eye makeup. And then of course, just a little bit more of the Wisp mascara on my lower lashes. So jumping on into bronzing the skin, I really want to add some color back into my face, especially since the foundation is a little light on me. I totally forgot that I also had this AOA Studio Sculpt FX contour stick. Unfortunately, I already did powder my face, or this is something that I would demonstrate for you guys, but this is a very creamy pigmented stick. This is in the shade Nutmeg. It's definitely a little bit cool tone, so I think this would be more of like an awesome contour shade if you want to create shadows and stuff on your face. So hopefully one day I could show this to you guys in action, but I'm so sorry I totally forgot to use this before I went ahead and set the face, and I don't want to mess anything up. So I'm gonna jump on over to bronzing the skin with a powder bronzer, and for that I picked up the Malibu Glitz Smooth Definition Pressed Powder in the shade Honey. So this is actually just supposed to be like a pressed powder for someone with a deeper skin tone, but I love using pressed powders as a bronzer actually. And when I was browsing the bronzers and stuff like that, this shade just caught my eyes. You could always totally use a pressed powder as a bronzer. You could use a lighter pressed powder as a highlighter, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you guys didn't know, Shop Miss A also has a really great brush selection on their website. I picked up a couple of their face brushes. I'm gonna use the F13 right now. This is what that looks like. This just looks like it's going to be so perfect for my bronzer today. I hope this will be pretty good for my skin tone. Definitely has a warm undertone, which I really like. I think this looks really nice, you guys. It's blending on the skin really nicely. Definitely see the nice color that it's adding to the skin on this side compared to this half of my face where there is nothing. I think it's a really nice powder and a really nice shade for my bronzer as well. I really like this bronzer, you guys, or face powder I should say, but for me this is such a nice bronzer. It looks so natural, yet it's giving me so much definition and color at the same time. I'm going to use the same bronzer on another little eye brush. I'm going to use this to contour my nose, which always freaks me out with a new bronzer. but I'm going to just try to be really light-handed and try my best. I think that looks so good, you guys. There is something so natural about the formula of this powder. For blush today, I have the AOA Studio Perfect Blush. I picked this out in the shade Wispy, which looked like a deep nude on the website, but it's kind of like a warm, almost like a deep nude, but a little bit of terracotta type of shade in there. So I'm going to use this on their F14 blush brush and just put it right on the apple of the cheek here. Can you guys see that? It's so pretty. And then of course, lastly, for the face, I am so excited for this. This is the AOA Studio Perfect Pressed Highlighter. I picked mine out in the shade Tiara, and I'm going to be applying it with the F19 brush. You guys know I love a good glow, and I definitely have high hopes for this highlighter. It looked so pretty online. Ooh, yes. And it is so pretty in person as well. The shade is definitely pretty icy for me, but it actually matches the lid shade really well. I think I'm going to use this to highlight my inner corners as well. It's really bright and intense, but it's not glittery or chunky or powdery. It's just going on the skin and giving such a nice glow. Just doing a little inner corner highlight now with this. It's so pretty. So the last thing for this video are the lips. I'm going to line my lips with the AOA Wonder Lip Liner in the shade Nude. This is just like a classic wooden pencil. Oh wow, very creamy. The color is very interesting. I don't know how it's translating on camera, but in person, it's a very strong, orangey type of nude shade. It's not like a traditional nude. The two lipsticks that I picked out are their soft matte lipsticks. I picked it out in the shade Tangerine and then also the shade Honey, which both are kind of like warm peachy nude shades, but the shade Tangerine right here is definitely a lot deeper. And then this is Honey, which is like my ideal lip shade, just like a classic nudie peach. Today I'm gonna go with Honey just to kind of tone down the lip liner a little bit and just make the lips nice and nude. Wow, this shade is so interesting. This is honestly one of the most unique lip combinations that I've tried in a really long time. It is so nude, but it looks like a creamsicle on my lips. I can't describe it. I think I'm just gonna take a little bit of Tangerine on the outsides to kind of blend it together and just deepen it up a little bit. All right, you guys, so here it is. Here's the final full face of dollar makeup from Shop Miss A. I am so incredibly impressed, and I feel like this video went so well. I really love how this look turned out. It ended up being very monochromatic, very warm tone, peachy, spicy kind of shades, which I absolutely love. You guys know warm tones are my favorite to play around with here on my channel. I was so impressed with everything that I tried out today. I definitely think there were those products that really stood out to me more than the other ones. I absolutely loved the eyebrow pencil. I really like the baked shadows, the concealer. You guys, I definitely think the liquid concealer was like the star of this video for me. It was so good. There were just so many great products that I tested out in today's video. I had so much fun testing all of these products out. If you guys have any other questions for me about any of these products, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. I would love to answer it for you guys. Also, make sure you guys head on over to my Instagram because I am doing a giveaway with Shop Miss A as well over there, where you guys will have a chance to win your own Shop Miss A gift card. So you could go shopping for a full face of makeup. So definitely make sure to go to my Instagram at Jackie Ann Makeup if you guys want to enter. Overall, I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video and spending time with me today. If you did, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, click that notification bell down below and you'll get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.